So we're talking about partnerships. We're talking about MSPs. We're talking about the event. Let's throw this all together in the hat. Okay, so tell it first. Some people, most people know who Silvereye is, right? But
Probably not.
oh, then let's tell them. Tell us who Silvereye is.
All right. Well, Silvereye, we've been in business 10 and a half years. We started as a reseller of Acronis. Very first order ever was Acronis, Raytheon Technologies, Air Force Intelligence. And we've since become a systems integrator, and we've been a distributor for the public sector business, and now a cloud distributor. So at this point, we really expanded. We worked with all these different OEMs. We've really been students of the channel for a long time. And this year, because of the really big transformation that Acronis has been through, because I've been on the Partner Advisory Council since 9 years ago. So we've seen such this transformation of licensing and consumption and just following the entire industry. And right now, this is such the time to come in and really work with the managed service providers. I think the biggest piece that's missing in managed service providers in the industry is there's not enough business acumen. There are so many MSPs that have all the technical chops, but there's a reason why 90+% of these MSPs, don't quote me on these numbers, are 7 people or less. And it's because they've collected a certain number of clients, but they don't have the business acumen to go, how can I grow from 7 to 20 people? They think they're going to do it because they're the smartest people in the room, but that's not how you grow an MSP from 7 to 20 to 50 to 600. That's just, you have to bring in business acumen. And that's where I think the distribution layer really needs to come in and go, we're here to help very technically savvy people who are looking forward, working with the technologies, working through these new solutions, following the new trends, and helping them play business.
Yeah. You're touching on something that it's one of the things that we did when we put the agenda together for the summit this year, and it's because for the last year we had the world, because it was still a COVID year and all that stuff. We called the Summit World Tour. We had Miami, and then we had Schaffhausen, then we had Dubai, and then we had Singapore. So we kind of did multiple regional events, and I was involved with all of them, and so I would do some presentations and stuff like that, and people would say, "Great product. Now, how do I sell it?" And it's like, well, okay, yeah, and or hey, this is a really good feature. It's a valuable feature. How do I communicate this to my customer? But it's like, okay. So we have an entire track this year. It's running. In fact, it's running this afternoon, called Revenue Accelerator. It's just about marketing and sales. It's not about technology at all. It's about, okay, how do I market myself? How do I put myself out there? How do I develop a plan?
And it's so important that because Acronis is such a large size, right? There's such a large player in the industry that it is their responsibility to go, these are not really these clients, these are partnerships. And historically, all OEMs did this, right? I mean, everyone's always kind of watching, like, what's Veeam doing? What's Axiom doing? What's everybody doing? And the really big issue is, like, how can you create this partner channel where we go, okay, these people are out there and they're learning how to sell your stuff. When you create a reseller community, that's very difficult. There's just the bridges aren't there. The purpose, the enthusiasm, the administrative overhead, quite frankly. I mean, when I was doing my speech yesterday, the thing that hit the most, other than my disaster girl meme, which did very well, was when I was describing the traditional channel and I was saying that fulfillment is a necessity. It's not a value add.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that just got a gigantic uproar because there are so many people that are not happy with distribution from a historical perspective because they're going, your fulfillment. And that's not enough. For MSPs, they feel like the gap between the OEM and themselves is too big. So there's no partnership, which is why the OEMs are looking at the distributors going, how can you add value, not just do necessity, not just do order fulfillment. And that's where Silvereye is taking this perspective of how can we give managed service providers something that they can't give themselves? And what we can give them is clients, not prospects, not leads. We already have clients. We are white labeling Acronis licensing, managed services, bundles. We are selling them to end users, and then we are bringing them together. So the managed service providers are going, you're not giving me a referral. You're paying me to take a client, and now I'm allowed to cross-sell, upsell, et cetera, because the managed service providers that are here, the ones that, again, there's probably not a lot of CEOs here that are running 7-person MSPs.
Right.
The ones that are here are typically going to be in the 20 plus range, and they have the business acumen, and they're coming here going, we want to answer these questions. We need to know these answers. How can we package? There's so many different products. I mean, they're in the middle of acquisitions. They're, taking old acquisition technology and pushing it in, and we're all trying to figure out, how do we sell these advanced packs? How do we, position this disaster recovery? How do we do this? And Silvereye is kind of taking out the perspective of the products, because we're like, listen, we can't keep up with all of Acronis' products, but that's not really our business. Our business is to really empower the channel, empower the MSPs, and what they want is they want clients.
Yeah.
And we're good at that.
Yeah. What do you think about? All right, so you had your session, of course, right? But did you have a chance to attend any other sessions, or were you just in meetings all day?
I sat in on the TeamUp.
TeamUp panel.
Yeah, with Ryan Davis, who's been a long time Acronis. He's been 10 years maybe.
Oh yeah.
Enterprise sales, and I'll tell you, there's a kind of a joke with me, and which I didn't get to get up on stage, about Peter Concannon. He's a long time channel guy, and he's not a big fan of me in the beginning. He's like, who's this kid? This is 9 years ago, right? I mean, I'm 26 at the time, and he goes, he's using marketing funds for Capitals tickets. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, I invented TeamUp. Look at how big TeamUp is, and I was the one who invented this. I mean, it's truly incredible to see, what can really transpire over the course of 9 years, and it's really nice to see that Acronis is, they have a certain culture. Every company has a certain culture, but what I'm looking and I'm seeing in Acronis is there's a lot of longevity here. There are so many familiar faces that have been through some really tough times.
Yeah.
I mean, these transformations are not easy. It's very competitive. You think that every other software company is having it easy? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They are crumbling, and Acronis is thriving. So that's why Silvereye is taking the perspective of, we're going to consolidate all of our other smaller relationships. We're going to just get rid of those, because this is the time for Acronis. We've been waiting here for 10 years for this moment.
All right, well, you just touched on something that's really important to us right now, about the consolidation and taking all the different pieces off the board and getting as few pieces as possible, taking the complexity out of the whole game. That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly what we're saying. And that's where Acronis is winning. That's where managed service providers are winning. Because when you're talking about growth, and I am on a panel later about MSP growth, where there's a lot of these different pieces of, okay, you're a 1-person shop, now you're a 5-person shop, now you're 15, now you're 25, et cetera, et cetera. And in the beginning, you're taking whatever, I'll do break fix. You can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning for $18. Like, you have to go through those motions. You have to learn. You have to be in this game for a while and figure out, where am I going to get the biggest bang for my buck? And that's why right now with Acronis, yes, we've been doing this for a very long time, and we've had some other things successfully come and go, but it's really about looking and saying, how can I take things off my plate so that I can really commit?
Right.
It's really about the commitment, and that's where right now Acronis is really, really committing to the MSP channel, where historically with the resellers, it's not that they didn't want to, it's that it was too large of a task.
Right.
So it's for every OEM. It's just too big of a task. But right now, we see it. Acronis is really finding how they can empower the distributors, how they can empower the MSPs, and how they can really consolidate all of this end user consumption.
Right. Now, when we were just getting started here, you said something. You said that you're all, Silvereye is a top sponsor, but then you talked about how even just after day one, how successful, and you compared it. So say that again for me.
Let me think. So I believe I woke up this morning and I sent a text to one of the executives that isn't here today, and the way I described it was, this conference has been more successful than every other conference that I've ever been to combined. And we used to run 50 conferences a year for the federal government. Yeah. So I've been to a bunch of conferences. But this time, this year, Acronis is hitting the nail right on the head. We have, 2,000 people here. Yeah. There is, every single person here is a decision maker, a successful business person. I have learned so much. They have learned so much. People are here for partnerships. They're not here for the free food.
Yep. Good. I got one more question for you. Are you familiar with some of the products that we have coming up that we're announcing here at the summit? EDR, the new advanced management, new advanced automation, those things. Are you familiar with those yet?
A little bit, yep.
Which one are you looking forward to the most? Or is there one?
Yeah, I would probably say the everything that has to do with the advanced scripting.
Cyber scripting and advanced
Yeah,
management.
that's really where. So we've been building some tools internally that have been solving some of these tail end, use cases. Because as an example, we have a lot of these classic clients who are very frustrated with the Acronis for XYZ reason, and really it's because the functionality and the requirements and the use case is really more of a cloud. And it's like, well, you've been using Acronis for 9 years and you're about to give it up, but we're going to do some scripting. We're going to kind of pull this down, pull that down, re-upload it, get it more organized, and we're going to put you in a cloud environment. And you're going to be working with a managed service provider who is, best in breed and understands that your environment is like it's been running like this for 7 years, and now you need, now you're trying to bolt some things on. So the advanced scripting is going to save my developers a lot of time internally. So that's the kind of thing that we want to use, because that's how that saves us a lot of administrative and heavy lift to capture these end users and then give them to the managed service provider.
I was on a conversation last night where somebody else said a very similar thing, and they actually looked at me and they dead in the eye and they said, the way you've structured cyber scripting, and they said, we don't know if you did it on purpose or as an accident. They said, there's more value there than you even know. So we're going to set up a call just to get back and see what are they seeing. We thought we developed something cool, but they're seeing some extra value points in there. So I'm kind of excited about it too.
I'm very excited. Yeah, we have a couple people here who are, they have a lot more information because they've been bouncing off things, saying, hey, you can use this script. So they've been using some of our scripts. We've been using some of their beta scripts. So yeah, we're both in kind of each other's betas to solve some of these, because we're realizing as we're digging deeper and deeper into this new evolution of consolidating all of these end users, a lot of which are, IT managers at law offices or churches or property management, et cetera, and they've historically been buying the wrong kind of licensing. Oh, it's got a bundle package. Oh, it's this way, it's that way. And now that they can be in the cloud, all of a sudden they go, oh, this is not just backup. This is a backup and environment management tool, and a little bit of this scripting can save me a process that we either gave up on because it was too manually intensive, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to save us 1,000 cycles.
Wonderful. Yeah. Cameron, I enjoyed our conversation. I've learned a lot about Silvereye, and I had a good time doing it.
Oh, wonderful. It's great to meet you.
Good to meet you, too. Yeah. Cheers. Everybody, see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.